everybody thinks they stink, and they come in, and the first day of practice, the guards on our team, who were terrific players, couldn't get the ball across midcourt. Couldn't get the ball across midcourt because these guys were so fast, jet quick, they could put pressure on you 94 feet. And all of a sudden, Terry Holland, who was an absolutely phenomenal head coach at the University of Virginia for 16 years, he calls the coaching staff together and he says, look, we got to change. We got to change our defensive philosophy. We've always been just a half-court defensive man-to-man team. And Coach Holland said, we got to turn these two guys loose. And we have to go after the basketball, put a lot of pressure on them, and force tempo. Why did we want to force tempo? Because we had Ralph Sampson, 7'4", National Player of the Year, and everybody was trying to slow things down against us. There were teams back then where there was no shot clock, so they were holding the ball on us. Now, I'm not talking about low majors or mid-major teams holding the ball on us. I'm talking about Carolina and Duke holding the ball on us. But maybe they just didn't have good enough players back then, I'm not sure. Bob, how do you think Carolina would think? They only had Michael Jordan and James Worthy and Sam Perkins. Just, mediocre front court. Anyway, what we decided was we needed to put pressure to create tempo. And the tempo was going to be this. We're going to pick up 94 feet and we're going to harass them. Once it crosses midcourt, we're trapping. We're either going to trap the first pass receiver or the dribbler. All right? So as the point guard was bringing the ball across midcourt, we would either trap him right here in the coffin corner where you had the half-court line to help you, you had the sideline to protect you, so that the only pass he was going to be able to make is probably up the sideline or a reversal pass. And we were going to take those things away. Right? The other was, we were going to allow them to make an entry pass and then surprise them with a trap. So as the point guard, let's say we're going to this basket now, crosses midcourt, and he's going to pass and go away, which is what a lot of teams did back then. We're going to send one of these fast guys, Othell Wilson or Ricky Stokes, and just go chase the ball and trap whoever catches it. And if they got it out of the trap successfully and it reversed the basketball, it would likely be shot a lot quicker than if we just let the opponent run their offense. So by doing that, the opponent would play a little bit faster, and that would actually play into our strategy of what we want to do. And that was get up and down the floor, 94 feet, create tempo. So we called the entry pass, where we were trapping the pass receiver, we called it thumbs down, meaning a downward pass and we're trapping. We called, when the ball handler came across midcourt and we trapped the ball handler, we called that the blitz. All right, like you're going after the quarterback. So we started working on it every day. And pretty soon, we were dynamic defensively. And it led to some great success. So when I became a head coach at Bowling Green State University in 1986, I looked at our team and we had some small, quick guards. So we immediately implemented thumbs down and the blitz. And we just worked really, really hard at pressuring the ball and forcing mistakes and forcing turnovers. But an interesting conversation occurred in my 10th year at Bowling Green. During my first 10 years, we used the scramble sporadically, after a free throw, after a timeout. Not a lot, maybe 6 or 8 or 10 possessions in a game. 10 was probably even going to be a lot. But for those of you who don't know, there was a terrific coach at Eastern Michigan University by the name of Ben Braun. And Ben Braun got the head coaching job at the University of California. He was leading the league and we were friends. And so I called Ben, congratulated him, and then I just asked you've played against my teams now for 10 years. Is there any suggestions as to how you think we could improve? And he said, yeah, and I'm happy to tell you this now that I'm leaving. I said, what is it? He said, man, you need to scramble more. That stuff is hard to prepare for, it's hard to attack. You just need to do it a lot more. So I met with my staff, and we just said, the hell with it. We're just going to do it all the time. So on every score, every made field goal, every made free throw, every sideline out of bounds, after every timeout, we were in the scramble, either blitz or thumbs down. And that year, we led the league in scoring. We finished first in the league, won our conference, and we were third in the country in forcing turnovers. Kentucky was one when Rick Pitino was there. Arizona was 2 with Lute Olson, and Bowling Green was 3. And it became a tremendous part of my defensive philosophy. Now, we were able to keep that going in George Mason. It was very successful early on. And then we had to make adjustments because we were not able to get that speed and quickness in our backcourt for a time period. We made some adjustments. Some of our front court guys, we had some guards who were great, but our front court guys were a little slow. So we've had to make some adjustments over the years. So for those of you who, when you're heading into your season and you're building your game plan and your strategy for your team, you really have to evaluate, are you the kind of coach and the kind of team that can utilize a defense like this? And as I said, you do not have to do it all the time. In 2006, when we made the Final Four at George Mason, we beat Michigan State in the first round. We had to play Carolina, who was the defending national champions, in Game 2. So we played Friday night and won. We're going to play Sunday at 3. And so on Saturday, we're doing all of our preparation. And then Saturday night, I get a phone call from my son, Jay. My son Jay, who's now the assistant coach with the Boston Celtics, but at that time, he was a professional player in Italy. So he calls at 11 o'clock at night after our team meeting and says, hey, I need to talk to you. I just sent you an email. We need to go over my notes. I said, hey, it's 11 o'clock. I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed. This is a quote. Do you want to win or not? And I was like, yeah, I want to win. He said, then go get the email. Because back then I didn't have it on my phone or anything. I had to go down, ask the hotel to open up the business section, print the email, take it back up to my room and call. And we ended up having this great conversation. And it really helped us win the game the next day. And he said, this is what he said, and this is what was in his notes. Dad, we're playing against one of the greatest coaches in the country in Roy Williams. I know if you fall behind to Carolina tomorrow, the first thought that's going to run through your mind is scramble and try to get quickly back in the game. Don't do it. So I said, why not? That was exactly what I was thinking. He said, no, because even if it works in the first half, at halftime, you're giving Coach Williams the opportunity to make all the adjustments and attack it. You won't be able to use it in the second half. Save it until the start of the second half. So, the next day we played Carolina. We fell behind 16-4. What should I do? Scramble a bit? No. I went to a 2-3 zone. We hadn't played zone the whole year. I told the team at the timeout, we're going to go 2-3 zone. And they said, 2-3 zone? I said, we're going 2-3 zone. Just got to slow this game down. That was so opposite our normal approach. So we went 2-3 zone, fought our way back. The score was 27-20 at the half. We're down 7 in striking distance. I go into the locker room and I tell the guys, now we're going after them. We're going right at them. We're blitzing them to start the second half. Every time they score, we're either in thumbs down or the blitz, and we're going after these guys. The score was 27-20, came out. first timeout of the second half, Roy Williams calls a timeout. We're up 28-27. We have four straight turnovers, steals that led to layups and dunks. And now all of a sudden, the pressure has swung from them being on a roll to them being behind. And that changed the tempo of the game, and we ended up beating Carolina. Of course, eventually we went on to the Final Four. So, when it comes to the scramble, I have great memories of how it can be utilized. For all of you, it goes back to that evaluation. How much to use it? It takes a while to teach it and get your players comfortable with it. I'm working with our guys right now to see if we can utilize it this season, because we have 3 freshmen who are really terrific athletes. So they're ideally suited for this. We've got a couple of upperclassmen that can do it, but not everybody. There's certain guys on our team that are not going to be suited to be trapping and rotating, okay? So to start with, hello, Shakey, you got enough to eat for lunch? I haven't had a chance to meet all you guys, but if I could, are you 2 teams? I see gray and white. Yes? All right, all the guys in white, you'll go on to the baseline and each of you with the ball. All the guys in gray, leave the balls there and go to midcourt. So, I played at Archbishop Malloy High School in Queens, New York for a guy named Jack Larrañaga, who is, in my mind, the greatest coach I've ever known and spent any time with. And he always taught the game like in a sequence. So the sequence would be 1-on-0, 1-on-1, 2-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-0, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5. It was always building, and he'd break it down always to the fundamentals. So this when we started teaching, and this is what we saw. Does anybody have like one of those watches that has a second hand where you can, like a stopwatch for 7 seconds? I need 7 seconds. You got it? 7 seconds? You got your iPhone? You can put 7 seconds on there? Okay. If I say go, can you yell stop at 7 seconds? I don't say go, you say stop. I say go, and you wait 7 seconds. I want to show my instructions. I don't know how smart. He's got smartphones. That don't make him smart. Okay, 1 minute, we got to get in line. Let's go. 3 is first, you try the middle. 32. What is it? Drive, and then do. That's right back there, and then everybody behind those guys. Okay, so the first thing, we're going to have 1 line right behind number 3. What's your name? Ken? Okay. So what we're going to do then is Ryan's going to throw you the ball, just like 1 bounce to him. Go ahead, throw. And run the guard. Stop at the top of the key to a stance to guard. Alright? When you catch it, you're going to go on the run and dribble it and work on trying to get into the paint. Okay? You're not going to let him get into the paint, and by the way, you're not shooting the ball. He's not going to shoot. Okay? But you're going to work on moving your feet and guarding him for 7 seconds, and then you guys are done, and then you switch lines. Are we ready? Ready? Next guy ready to come. 1 down, ready, go! Yeah, that's it. Guard, keep guarding. 7 seconds. Stop. You're done. 7 seconds. Oh, you got to learn to move your feet. Guard. Yeah. Good. No. Oh. 20 feet out of your knees. But did I say shoot? I said dribble. Try to go by it. I didn't say shoot. Everybody understand? This is not a shooting drill. It's a defensive drill. Guys working on